October 6th. Finance Committee will come to order. And get approval of the agenda. Second. All approved. All right. And then do we have any public comment on agenda items? No public?
Jeff, you didn't sign up in time, sorry.
Okay, all right, and then referendum project expenditures.
Okay, thank you for having us tonight at the finance meeting. Rhonda has been working on the project master project list for our referendum projects, and we've been presenting this at the CART meeting. So we wanted to start with this information regarding the referendum projects. Share. Oh, no. Oh, you know, okay. Okay. Yeah. You could probably see these already. Yeah, so, first, so just kind of briefly go over what this report is. Is the projects that were approved for each school with their project name, the percentage of completion, and then the card had asked for, red, yellow, and green light, indicating what the project is, what status the project is in at the time that we present the reports. And then the list, the notes are what projects entail. So Robert, would you want to add anything about the different projects or?
Certainly. So note that this was updated as of Friday, October 3rd. So this is up-to-date information. Basically, every time that we meet with the CART committee, I give them an update. And they'll see that in blue font, which is why you see that across the top. So that way they know what's new and what was from before. And then on the very last page, I provide a pie chart to show how much of the 200 million in the referendum that we have not only paid, but that we have encumbered. So the chart has been updated as of this past Friday, October 3rd.
So we were talking a little earlier about providing some additional dollar figures on some of these projects that are almost completed or have gone through the process of, if we have secured a gross maximum price contract so that we don't show all of our cards so that the contractors don't know exactly how much money we have for them to come in and bid $1 less than what we have projected for a project. But sometimes we're a little higher, sometimes a little lower. So we were proposing to bring some of that additional information. You see a lot of these projects are 85% complete, 75% complete, and 100% complete. So we would focus on those areas to bring out the exact number or close to projected numbers. Sounds like something good to have some dollars attached to.
Going forward, maybe for those that particularly have the maximum price established and whatnot, having kind of some sort of bearing against that, I certainly understand that aren't out to bid or encumbered at this point. We don't know nothing is that.
So would you want to see the guaranteed maximum price and then maybe pay to date? Is that what you're asking?
Give folks a sense of where it's going, and you've got to allocate and whatnot, and I like the I think the colors don't mean much to me personally, but I get those are helpful as well. And then any stop light, any blinking lights that you might see from a financial perspective around what we're doing. Obviously, by all means, go ahead.
We have one, as you see on page 4. Ponds, in the area of the ponds. Although we were ready to go, we are ready with shovels and trucks and people and shopping at the bit to get out there. We just don't have the land. So the CART committee, and I think they already brought this to y'all on the board, that they wanted to make that a red light. We will not hit our target date of completion on that.
Well, I think from a finance standpoint, I'm not only concerned about the date, but obviously we're well behind where we expected to be, and that could have an impact on materials, labor, and everything else. So, what kind of an impact does that have on us? Do we have enough money? Do we think, based on where we are with other things, are we coming in under? And it's something to be cautious about, or is it something we should start worrying about today? So any of that kind of insights and whatnot, just to help us be proactive and see what's coming down the pipe. That one definitely was the one I was thinking of.
And Tony, I mean, what's your thoughts right now? How are we doing escalation and those things right now? And from a first guaranteed maximum price, especially for bonds, where do you, where do you see that right now?
So, before we get into specific numbers, our first guaranteed maximum price was 47 million.
271,000.
400, yeah, 47,271,000. So, if we went on the high side and did a 5% escalation on that for a year, then, that would put us somewhere in the neighborhood of 49 million. So, and
That's just construction costs.
that's just construction costs. Now, we do have some money encumbered for the bonds that, our design fees, permitting fees, due diligence fees, we have all that already expended. But we have some of it expended. And I don't really want to task our contractor with going through another GMP exercise until we are certain that we, have everything we need to play with. We need to make sure, because, and I think it'll probably come in lower than 5%. Because escalation has kind of slowed down. Some but I'm thinking somewhere between 3 and 5%.
So at what point do we ask them to do that, though? That won't be until we.
When we are sure that we have a place to build a school,
Right.
that's when we kick it. But, there's still, I saw a submittal today come from the contractor going to the design team. We're still working it on the back end. But as far as the GMP goes, I think there are some several large things that would change in price. Steel, concrete, not so much, but mainly steel and your cycle. Those are the two big outliers that would probably escalate more than, windows and brick and block and other things, I think, but, in keeping up with the trends on everything, I think those would be the two things. But, and hopefully we get a pleasant surprise, so, but, I don't think we need to put them through that exercise again, because they have to contact all of their subs and get new numbers on everything, so I think we would
But
be.
once with Atlantis.
Once we see some ink on some paper somewhere, then that's the time we would say, hey, I'll make the phone call
Okay.
at that point in time and put them in the overdrive and get us a new GMP.
So we've been through the GMP exercise already.
We have,
And if we did manage to get ink on paper Friday and said, go on Monday, would any of them go, oh, by the way, that GMP we did, which was predicated on us getting started how long ago? Would any of them have a legal leg to stand on and say, we need to talk about this?
I think they would. I think we would have to go through the GMP.
Yeah.
So again, I don't believe we can hold them, or I don't believe we can hold the general contractor or any of their subs to numbers they gave us in January, February. You can't even go to the grocery store and get a carton of eggs the same price you did back then. Right. But eggs have gone down in price. So,
Maybe some other things will too.
Well, we continue to pray that that trend continues.
yeah.
And as Wimberly stated, it probably doesn't make sense for us until we actually know we have. You're continuing to operate in good faith and doing the things you need to do.
That's right.
To prepare us for that.
And they're wonderful about that. And Hood hasn't even asked for their pre-construction fee yet. So they know our predicament and they're with us every step of the way. So once we get, once we get the nails down to, get down to brass tacks, we're gonna get everything, everybody paid. Get a school built is the main thing.
How many users could work with DD2?
You know, we've only used them on one project prior to this, and that was at Somerville High School in 2014 and 15, I believe. Yeah, they did 500 building for us, and they,
Outstanding.
Farrell was over there and, for that project, he said that, and that was another project that was, you know, close proximity to students, buses, cars, everything going on in the middle of everything. And they did a great job over there.
Above and beyond, great partners to work with.
Just to point out, I don't know if we've brought this CART report to the board before, but the other non-green light is on Sand Hill Elementary. The status of yellow, and that's not for, dollar reasons. That was just a timing issue because of rain. So they were gonna miss their projected. Yeah.
We did have, it was 5 days for muck and fill and 5 days for rain delays. And both of those were no charges for the time. So most of the time when you have a change order for delay days, there is a charge that is associated with that. And they said no to the charge on the day, so.
You and Ronna probably talked him into not charging us. That's what I think.
We were persuaded.
So no additional dollars there. Yay.
So I know very little about construction, so when I saw unsuitable soil, that had to do with the rain, the mud, et cetera, or that had to do with the soil itself.
Substrate, that's the condition of the substrate as it is. I mean, if you want to see a prime example of unsuitable soils, walk out back.
Okay.
We've got a 5 foot deep hole back there where a building is gonna go, and it has to be filled with, suitable. So we had to build it up from the fluff mud up to put something on it.
You know, this is kind of the reason why we have the schools that are kind of sinking a little bit, because back when they were built, there was no such thing as bad soil. They just built it on top. Well, now, the technology, and as we move forward, and it seemed like everywhere we dig, Somerville High School, and in the district office, the K-6 or 600 building, there's unsuitable soil. So Tony's getting very familiar every time we seem to do something, there seems to be some soils we got.
Living in the low country.
Yep.
Okay, well, those were the, that was the information that we wanted to bring to you about the referendum. This is the project list and, we love all the goodies, so we'll bring y'all some good green money, dollars on these projects.
Special revenue.
So for special revenue, mainly we wanted to talk about, we talked about providing some information on our different federal and state funds. I didn't put a slide up there, Colin, sorry, this one's for the next section, but it's fine. It's fine. So we received some information that based on the federal freeze, this is not unlike what we heard earlier, that there could be some dollars that may not make it down. We don't want anybody to feel worried about this. Working with the Federal Programs Office, we're fine with what we have planned with our programming. And if there were any potential cuts, I don't know that it would be in this cycle.
I don't think it'll be in this cycle because we fall a year behind with federal government money because they are October to October, and we're July to July. And so we should still see the money coming in. We haven't gotten some of that, but I was at a roundtable meeting and they said we should see something before like October 23rd. It'll be a final allocation entitled to, they usually give us a preliminary that we can work on. We've had planning meetings, so we already know what we want to put in plans. We're just waiting now for funding to come through so we can push the plan back. And that's how we're going to work this year. So
So we're still operating under money's been appropriated already. It's just gotta be second.
We just heard that there was some grumblings going on at the federal level, just with the shutdown and everything. We just wanted to bring that to y'all just to
Thank you.
bring y'all some comfort. But right now, we're still working in the funding that we have, and we're good. If things were to come down that we had to rearrange our programming, we would bring that to y'all during budget season when we get some other information
So
for
the
next
budget
year.
we talked about getting in October, before October 23rd, that would get us through the rest of this school year.
It's just a couple of funds that are not high dollar amounts that they had talked about perhaps not funding, small dollar amounts. When I say small, under $200,000. It sounds like a lot, but, again, we just didn't want to panic anybody, just let y'all know that we are keep aware of that. Is there anything else that we should add about that for the?
No, that's just the biggest thing is, that's what we've heard from our superintendent's roundtable is, possible cuts, not this year, but the following year.
So we would know sometime in the spring.
That's what we're hoping.
So,
That could affect, Title II, Title IV, Title III.
Which is the, migrant.
Yeah.
So keeping it close.
All right. Well, we were gonna talk about first special revenue funds, unless you'll have some other questions.
Good,
Okay,
then I guess the finance report format. Really had some ideas there.
yes, so we had some suggestions, some colors. Local reports. This is just an overview of the general fund. So we're talking about also perhaps bringing quarterly some additional funding overviews like we were just talking about for special revenue. I propose that we could bring this special revenue fund information on a quarterly basis to align with when we send our grant claims information to the State Department of Education. So we feel really good and solid about that quarter. So we would like to bring those quarterly. This is our general fund. We bring this every month, hoping that we still have to provide numbers because we deal with numbers, but maybe some words and colors could be helpful. This first page is our general fund revenue overview for this current year. DD2 budgeted $300 million in general fund revenues. As of August 31st, we've received $29.3 million. Below is a summary of revenue received by major sources as of August 31st. And then just to give you just the big total dollars. Local revenue, state revenue, and other revenue just in bar graph form. So you can see how we have increased. Some revenue insight just based on the very bottom statement is increasing revenues year over year is due to increasing budget. Revenue as a percent of budget is consistently higher year over year for local and state revenues. The jump in other revenues from fiscal year 24 to 25 and 26 is due to a change at the state level in the funding formula for EIA state aided classrooms. So just kind of a summary of the numbers and bar graph information on revenues. Just leave some suggestions.
Yeah.
For revenues, okay.
Just for clarity, so the 3% of budget, 12% of budget, 17% of budget, that's for that month. Is that right? Or
Year to date through August.
year to date through August? Okay, got it. Okay.
Next page is an expenditure overview, same format. Just with the basic information at the top and then expenditure insights on the very bottom. Increasing expenditures due to increasing budgets, mainly for salaries and benefits, and also increasing cost of goods and services. Expenditures of the percent of budget is consistent with previous years. Percentage of expenditure spent is lower for instruction and related categories than for other expenditures. This is important. I think we try to bring this to y'all's attention. because instructional expenditures begin at the start of the school year, whereas the other expenditures begin at the start of the fiscal year. So the instructional salaries and benefits don't start until the teachers come back in August. So a lot of those things don't start happening until a month later. So this next form is our fund balance overview. I love this. Lisa is actually the one who prepared these. I'm sorry. She's sorry that she couldn't be here tonight. Yes, I'll give her your claps. So this is good information. I'm just going to read it if you will allow me. The fund balance in the general fund as of August 31st, 2025 is $62.9 million, which equates to 21% of the district's FY26 expenditure budget. The State Department of Education requires that school districts maintain 1 month of operating expenditures and fund balance equivalent to 8.3%. And the Government Finance Officers Association recommends 2 months for 16.67. Dorchester School District 2's goal is to maintain 18% in fund balance, but recognizes that the month-to-month fund balance fluctuates due to the timing of revenue receipts and expenditure outlays, as tax revenues are not received equally throughout the year. So I love this graph because you can see where we start, a little bit under 30%, which sounds like we have a lot of fund balance. Then we go down, down, down because we don't receive all of our money in December. And then when we start getting our local tax revenues in January, February, and March, then the line goes up, and then we come back down because we have additional expenditures to pay. So we have been on a trajectory, and for FY26 projected looks very similar to where we've been in the past. So I love this one. It's in pictures rather than the numbers.
Thank you. One question with your feedback. So, as the word is 18% on average, obviously. I actually would love to just kind of strike a line on this as to what our goal
Okay.
is. That way you'll be able to see where it dips down below that. So
Right.
You guys are looking at the whole year, not just a month.
Right.
Right. What's that? That said, looks like we're projected to be significantly above that.
Well, we'll end the year with that amount. But again, once we go into the fall months, we will not have the extra revenues to keep us above the 18%. So we'll go down below 18%. But that's why it's good to have a healthy fund balance so that you don't have to go out for tax anticipation notes every year.
Yep. But if I'm understanding this correctly, so in June of 2026, the end of our current
Yes.
budget year, we should land somewhere in the neighborhood of 22%.
But since it gets us for the whole year, we'll go down to below 18%. Maybe that's a good point. We should see like, what is our average for the whole year? Because you see where we go below the 18% and then we'll end at 22%. That's one of the things that the state is making us send to them. They passed I think it was in a provider, Christie, where we have to send our fund balance every month. So they're trying to point out that sometimes school districts have 32% fund balance. Well, only because it's going to go back down later in the year.
I can see our state government did the same thing for us. Topic for another conversation. But yeah, this is informative and hopefully the whole purpose of this, trying to provide transparency and information for and to educate the public a little bit more about, all the intricacies involved in trying to run a school district. It's not just simply a matter of I get $1 today and I spend $1 tomorrow. Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks to the finance committee for,
You're welcome.
it's even easier for me to read.
Like the pictures?
Yeah.
Others?
Photographs. Thank you.
Any public comments? To adjourn?
We do that. You'd like to make a motion that we move into executive session to discuss a matter of just to get some information.
We do that on committee?
Yeah, we can't do an executive session after a committee and it's not on the agenda for tonight. We would have to have that. Certainly not.
Thank you.
Motion to
Oh.
adjourn. Lee and Cynthia second. All right.